Hi, everyone. Welcome back. I'm really thrilled to have today with me Angela Santi. Hi, Angela.
Hi there, Linda. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. Angela is a very, very fascinating individual. She's actually Italian. She lives in Italy. She's also fluent in English. She's a career business coach and mentor. She teaches people seminars. But she's very, very passionate about Argentinian tango, yoga, health and well-being. So
Yes.
welcome, Angela. Thanks so much for joining.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. Thank you. I'm very happy to be here with you.
Great. So Angela, can you tell us a bit about your story? So yeah, tell us a bit about your story.
Okay, my story is a very complicated one, I think. I like to say that I had 4 lives. Actually, I'm in the 4th and I still have 3 of them, it's very important for me to divide my life into these 4 lives because they were very different one from the other, but there were some like common, like a red, thread, a trait d'union. Mm-hmm. And the first life is my life of freedom, a life where I had my parents were really open people and a pioneer in a way, and very open only, not only for my, my education, strictly talking about education, but also they were very open to the world. In the late 60s, they have friends all over the world. So I was open to the internationality since when I was young. And I had the possibility to travel all over the world since when I was like 11, and I was doing it often alone. And this was something really important for me that helped me build a kind of, idea of adventure, sense of adventure, which I really love, and also trust in myself, in whatever I wanted to do and I could do. And my family also helped me and really let me do whatever I wanted. I was so lucky about it. So whatever I want to study, I did. I was studying piano for 30 years. And, I was going all over the places. I was studying English in England and then in the United States at the Berkeley University when I was in high school, something which almost nobody in my, my friend was doing. And I have really, really a lot of possibilities. And then when I went to the university, I really wanted to study foreign languages and literature, which at that time seemed to be, the key for success and for everything. Which now, okay. So everybody would say, okay, if you know how to speak a foreign language, then you have the world at your feet. And but this was a lot of fun for me because I'm really fond of literature. I'm fond of all kind of culture and of reading. I'm really curious, and this led me travel again in places like in Indonesia because I was studying Indonesian languages. Do you know, just to know what are these Indonesian languages? And so with the excuse of going and deepening my knowledge, I really had a lot of adventure for it. And I really had a lot of fun. And this was a part of life that was characterized by the sense of possibility. Whatever you want to do, you can do. And actually, I think that when you are at the university, it's very much this way, because if you want to reach your goal, it's up to you. You study and then you reach your goal.
Yeah.
And at the time, I had a really, really interesting and changing, in a way, experience. I won a scholarship, and I went to prepare my graduation work at the University of California, Santa Cruz, where I stayed a year. Mm-hmm. And this was really tough. I was used to go to California and to stay in Berkeley, which was a very open and international environment, and it was really close to everything, and really easy to move from there and go to San Francisco, go to Napa Valley, go wherever you wanted to go. Whereas in Santa Cruz, everything was there. I mean, the place was wonderful. The university was great as far as the teacher and the professors. And I really learned a different approach to teaching and to learning compared to Italy. For instance, whereas in Italy you have all the professors sitting there, and then all the students that have to stand still and listen to what they do, and just say, okay, good, you're my God, and so like that. In the United States, the professor is at the service of the students. Students were asking questions that in Italy they were really, you couldn't even imagine, to ask. And there I understood, okay, we are here and we are here to learn, and they are there to serve you. And this is the approach that now I'm using when I'm teaching.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
Which I think it's a key. It was like a cultural thing. But then the life was really, really tough. And I said, I did my military service there.
So is this still in your first life? Is this still considered to be?
And then I tried to speed up a little bit. And then the second life, when I finished the university, I said, what am I going to do now? And I didn't have a calling really, I just wanted to do something in culture, and that had a cultural, that was relevant in culturally speaking. But again, I don't know where you live, but in Italy, culture is not paid. And I also wanted to live like a glamorous life. And at that time, my family had a very, very big business in the automotive industry. We were a dealer for the most amazing and beautiful, and whatever you want to say, cars. Luxury cars. And I started working there as a quality manager. I started working there because at that time we were certified for total quality, and my father said, okay, you can write very well in Italian and you need to write all these procedures and things. And then I went there. And this was another interesting lesson that I learned, because there wasn't a culture to consider what are the right skills for a person to perform well in a certain role. Okay, because it was something really boring for me. It was always the same, and you have to be all precise, and get all those people say what they were doing, and then checking, plan, do, check, act, say what was not going, and then going back. So boring. And I'm kind of a lot of fantasy and creative, etc.
Right.
But the good thing is that I learned all the processes of this business. After that, this business was really growing and growing and growing and growing. And at the end, we were like 500 and something, almost 600 employees, with 27 buildings in all our region. And the thing was huge. And my role changed from quality manager to change manager, because we needed to integrate, all those people and all those different things, and everything was changing, and people needed to update, and we know that people hate change. So we needed a person, who would just stay there and facilitated this change. And I was also passionate of human beings, and I decided to change my role a little bit. And I was actually designing my role inside this company. And I like to help people develop, as a human beings and as professionals. So I started to study what were the perfect. I mean, the best path for every role or every person to develop in their role. And I was doing like a sort of HR, which wasn't really an HR. I think the most appropriate is a change management mixed HR. And everything was glamorous, everything was perfect. I was driving the most beautiful cars, and I was doing the most beautiful things in the world. But in a way, this was a very, very tight role. And if I think about it afterwards, I think that I was trapped in a golden cage somehow.
Ah, yes.
Because there was something missing. I was just doing the things because it was a routine, because it was expected, from my role, from my person, from my family, from my whatever. And even though everything was really beautiful and fun, I wasn't completely fulfilled. And I was thinking, should I do something different? But everything was so easy in a way, although difficult in some other ways, because I was, after all, a woman in a male world, and I was, the daughter of the entrepreneurs, which makes it easy to work in a way, because you don't have to look, to go searching for a job. You have your job there, very easy, but then you have to be recognized, and you have to learn, and then you have this name, that everything you say is like the Bible, is the truth.
Oh yeah, measured and listened to, scrutinized. Yeah.
Yes. And so there was, like the beautiful part, and another part that I was saying,
that wasn't so beautiful.
Yeah, that wasn't so beautiful, but it wasn't, I mean, not the difficulty is a problem for me. It wasn't really fulfilling. It was just a struggle. And then another thing is that as a manager, we women don't have, or at the time, we didn't have models. So we were trying to be like, the body of a woman, but the behavior of a man, which is really not organic. It's really something that sooner or later is going to damage you somehow.
Yes, and it becomes very evident because it's not authentic and aligned to who you truly are.
Yes. Yeah. And then you want to be assertive, and then you turn out to be aggressive, and if you are not assertive enough, then you become passive, and then it's like walking on glasses or on eggs. So it's really, and it's not satisfying. I think when challenge is healthy, challenge can be really satisfying, and I like challenge. But this wasn't a challenge. This was just like, I get out of my house and get this jacket, and then go in a battle every day. It was a battle in a way.
Yeah. I think a lot of people face this, and you faced this. You stayed in this because you felt that by not doing this, you would sort of let down your family.
Yes. And then you think that you have no other choices, and then it's the easier choice, and then it's the comfort zone, and then it's lots of things.
Yep.
And at that time, I started practicing yoga, which became one of my passions, and it became my life jacket in a way, because no matter what, I decided that 1 hour of yoga every day, it was a must. And this helped me very much get centered, and also in this time of difficulties at that moment. And then when I faced, we had a sort of tsunami, because in like 9 months after Lehman Brothers
collapsed,
we collapsed. Because the automotive market stopped, and the bank stopped giving money. And in our business in Italy, the Italian entrepreneur really rely on banks for investments. So we had this very, very big real estate investment. So everything stopped. and in a month like this, everything was over.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, wow, I say, wow, I was looking for adventure, and now I have an adventure. Yeah. And there started my third life. And the third life started with a choice. Do I want to be a victim? Or do I want to see everything from a different perspective and try to see what good I can take of it and how I can build my new life out of it? And since I was really, I didn't really know what I was going to do. I was like, dazed, confused, and everything. And I didn't even know how to write a resume. I was 43 at the time. I never needed a resume. So I went to a friend of mine who is an HR, was at that time the HR of a very big company. And I asked him, can you please tell me how to write a resume? And he told me, maybe you don't need a resume. A resume is the last thing that you have to write. Before the resume, you probably need to go for career counseling. So I hired a career counselor who really helped me get clear on what I wanted. And at the beginning, it was really, really difficult because I can remember one question that she asked at the beginning, and it was, what is your dream? And I said, my dream?
Yeah.
I'm not supposed to have a dream because I was already living a dream life. And everything that I wanted, I had, at least from a material point of view.
Yes.
I wasn't really aware of what I wanted.
And did you even think you had the possibility to dream about having something different than maybe what your family or your entourage had or was dreaming for you?
Yeah, I didn't know, not at all. I mean, this was my entourage, and this was sort of very large, but also very limited words. And having traveled so much, I knew that there were different words, but I didn't know that I could get access to these different words.
Yes. Okay, yeah.
Okay. So, and then another very important thing was that since I've always worked for myself or for my family, I wasn't even sure if my skills and my knowledge and my experience was interesting for the outside market, for the open market, and because it was something like, is it right? And I was answering, like the queen of the fairy tales. Yes, with my mirror inside. Is it the right thing? Yes, it is the right thing. That was the
mirror on the wall.
Mirror,
yes.
Yes. So when I was confronted with the outside world, I said, wow, I was really not sure anymore of what I was able to do, even though I've always been a person who is aware, of my value and what I can do, and of my, resources, my inner resources. And I was actually accessing to my inner resources at that time, but I wasn't aware of it.
Yes.
So when I had to write this career resume, it took me so long because I couldn't remember of any goal and skills and everything. Everything was blank. Okay, so at the end, with another very big struggle, we came out with this idea of using my abilities and my experience for doing consultancy, organizational consultancy, which was something in which I could very well use what I had. And I started to do that, and very quickly, actually, because some friends of mine and some acquaintances of mine actually were having startups, so they hired me as a consultant in this startup. And at the same time, a consultancy company that I was a customer of we had a very, very good relationship. When the owner of this company knew that I would say, quote, on the street, he said, okay, come and work with us. And I'm really, really grateful to these persons for this very, very interesting and big opportunity that I have, to relaunch myself on the market so quickly. And from the consultancy, and then I started to teach, seminars, in company seminars, and after that, my personal and professional life really developed and went on and on and on. And I came across coaching in a very casual way, because one of these company asked me to do a coaching, to coach a person in a customer. And I said, what is coaching? And they said, okay, it's something like teaching, but one-to-one. And I started to do that, but I wasn't satisfied. So I was looking for some structure and for some methodology, And very, very casually, I came across a book of this coach and trainer and writer who is Lucia Giovannini. She's very famous in Italy, and she's teaching NPL and neurosemantic after Dr. Michael Hall, the American coach.
Yeah.
And she's mixing like the hard part with more spiritual and part, which are the two words that I really feel aligned to, that really resonate me. And then I started this how can I say, this path with her. And then I took all my master in neurosemantic and then skill coaching and then whatever it was needed. And I was leaving more and more consultancy to become more and more a coach. And during my years, I started to live more and more and more the company coaching to coach more and more the individual.
Yes.
Because I wanted to transfer to the people what was worked for me, because I really know that if I made it, everybody else can make it. And
and some people might say, oh, but it was easy for her because she started and she just worked in her family's business, and when she started, her parents were they filled her with possibility and freedom and choice, and so all of these things. So I think it's fascinating that you say that. So what would you say were the biggest lessons you had to learn, because you came from what could potentially appear like a situation where things seem to be very easy? So what were the biggest challenges you had to overcome in regards to that in order to be where you are today?
Okay. The biggest challenge, I think, was in all my life, I had so many possibilities, and in a way, I always had, I was rescued by somebody else. I mean, I was very curious, adventurous, etc. But, I needed money. I just went to the machine and get the money. I needed that, and I asked, I needed the other, and I asked it. And then when the company collapsed, I was on my own, completely on my own. And I really said, okay, now I've always, wanted this adventure. I've always said I'm independent. And now I want to demonstrate myself that I am independent. So what I did all by myself without asking anybody. And the lesson is that if you get very, very clear on what you want and why you want it, which is, I think, one of the most difficult things, and start to, you stop, take for granted what you have, and ask yourself if you really want what you have, which is another step. Okay, because some of the things you get them just because you are in an environment, and maybe you're not really interested in them. Not that I've become a totally spiritual, etc. I still like supercars and I still like luxury, etc. But
and it's not necessarily in competition with each other. right?
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
still be a spiritual individual and like
Yes.
luxury cars.
Yes.
I mean, there are no rules against
Yes.
that.
Yes.
Um, but I think the point you make about getting really clear about what you want and why you want it is so, 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 so important. And giving yourself the permission also to say you don't want maybe, or you
Yeah.
do, but to also choose what's currently in your life. So, and if you don't want it, to have the courage and the honesty and the confidence to say, that's not what I want.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, and that's where it gets complicated and tricky, because it does take that courage. And you know, you might go into the conversation with trembling hands and
Yeah.
like, you know, voice and whatever. And it's a difficult conversation to have.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, you know, when you work, you start looking for new jobs, etc. I've learned that if you accept any job, then you don't have space for the job that you want. Okay, so you have to have the courage to say no to jobs that you don't want. You have to have the courage to say no to the people that you don't want as your friend anymore, because willy or nilly, they influence you. All the environment is influencing you.
Yes.
So I was very much influenced, although I was saying, okay, I'm a rebel, whatever. Okay, no matter, okay, you get these influences. So I also, not for this reason, but for other reason, I also split up from my boyfriend. So I had the possibility to go and go out with other people, different people from the people that we were going out with together. And it really opened me a world. I know for me, it's very easy to get in contact with people after 1 minute. I'm in a bus or in a train, after 5 minutes, I know everybody. So, and it's fascinating for me to know people and to acknowledge that every single person has a story to tell, and you can learn from everybody. It's not only from the super professor, whatever, and not from. Okay, so
absolutely. And the other thing that's really great that you just said is to say no to what doesn't work for you, like in your life, whether it's you know, taking any sort of job, because doing that, whether it's taking any job or taking any you know, partner or client or whatever, you know, that looks like settling for, and it's almost in desperation and with a scarcity mindset. What you're suggesting is when we actually go into abundance mindset and really align to who we are and what we want and why we want that, and not necessarily you know, how or when, but the universe will deliver to us.
Right.
That's more meaningful.
Right. And then when you go with when you have very clear why you are doing something, your mindset is a giving mindset, not a taking, you know, a mindset of taking. And when you have a mindset of giving, then you get things.
Yeah.
Because you deliver value, you deliver something important for the people, and you are aligned with who you are. And it's really important. Another very, very important lesson that I learned is that when you work, well, always, but especially when you work, you have to be aligned with who you are, with your heart, you know, and otherwise it gets really tough.
Yeah. And people can't, and that's where people get stuck. They can't get beyond the mental of, you know, blame, shame, regret, whatever it is that comes up for them. And, you know, one of the things that I truly believe is that we can't always control the emotions that come up, but we certainly have a choice on how we react to those and the actions we take and what thoughts that we have in regards to those emotions. So we can't control the emotions that come up, but we certainly can control the thoughts that we have about those emotions and the actions that we take on the back of those.
Right. I completely agree. Life itself is neutral.
Yes.
we attribute, we give a meaning to all the facts that happen to our life, and we decide how to live it. We decide if we want to live as a victim,
yes,
or as the driver of our life.
yes, absolutely. And there's this quote that I love from Wayne Dyer that I come back to often, and it's you'll become a non-victim only when you stop expecting to be victimized.
Right.
Yeah. And that's it. It's like, what choice are you making? Like, how are you living your life? How are you taking full responsibility for who you are and what you're doing?
Right.
Yeah. Right. Amazing. So I mean, this is such a fascinating story and wonderful. So what do you do now? So you're passionate about Argentinian tango and yoga and health and wellness, and you're a business coach and mentor. So can you tell us a bit more about that?
Yes. Now I'm in my fourth life, and I'm joking, and I said, okay, I turned 50, and turning 50, I want to become or to be a virtual nomad, because
virtual nomad.
Gift. Yes, this is a gift, because I think that being 50, this is an age for a woman, is an age of empowerment, if you know how to live it, of incredible empowerment and freedom and self-leadership, because you really know what you want, you know how to get it, and you can get it. Okay. And right now, I'm joking when I say I want to become a virtual nomad, because the shift that I'm making is to coach less in person, but more online, which I think it's really effective. First of all, because you don't need to be, I mean, now that, I live in a city where there is traffic and etc. And so everybody gets stuck in traffic. It doesn't make any sense to move, to get something that you want. And it's easier, it's more focused. And right now I'm doing this virtual coaching for job orientation, job career orientation, and for business. So basically what I do is to help people get very, very clear on what they want, why they want it, on their passion, on their interest, and on their skills, what skills need to be developed, what the market wants, and then we decide if they want to go for a 9-to-5 job or for an independent job. And then if they want to go for a 9-to-5 job, there is a certain amount of things to do. And then if you want to go for an independent job, there are other things to do. But there are some similarities because, as I said, you have to know who you want to be. Yes. Who you want to work to, which is your customer, your boss, or whoever. Yeah. What are the services that you want to deliver, and then how to market your services, your product, or yourself as an employee. And then there are, you write a business canvas or you write a resume, but basically the things to know are the same.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, and what's fantastic, and I'm sure this really comes out when you do your client work, is the wealth of knowledge and experience that you've had in both those worlds. So it's fascinating. That's amazing. Yeah. And you do the work both in English and Italian, or just primarily in Italian?
Yeah, primarily in Italian, but sometimes I've done it in English. Yeah, I'm actually, I actually want to open to enlarge my business also outside Italy.
Perfect.
Yes.
Okay. So it's been running for a while in Italy, but now you want to reach out.
Yeah, I'm always on the move, and I'm always developing myself and inventing new things. So yes, and then what is very important for me is to transfer people a sense of hope and possibility, because now I'm really convinced that although all the media, continues to say there's a crisis, there are no jobs, etc., this is the moment where people can really invent and create their jobs. And the internet is amazing because it can get you in contact with, all over the world. just
Yeah.
like we are doing, and we just
Yes.
met by chance.
Yeah, it's true.
And people really need to know how to speak English, which is the basic, which in Italian it's not a given. You know, you go and talk with young people and you say, who, I don't want to say speaks perfect English, but speaks a medium English, and in a class of 30 people you get like 2.
Oh yeah.
So if you don't know English, it means that you are choosing to limit yourself. And then you know how to use a computer and etc. And other than that, I want to transfer the importance of getting living in harmony, you know, having harmony between this, you know, work-life balance. I prefer to call it harmony than balance.
Yeah.
Because there is no solution. You know, it's like personal life and business life are the same, are mixed, and you are you when you work and when you're not at work.
Yes.
And then I have all my passions, which are healthy food, healthy lifestyle, which are, you know, the moment where you get your energy, because you need to recharge.
Yes.
And master your energy, because if you have no energy, you have no energy for your life, and you have no energy for your job.
That's right. Yeah, for whatever you do, and for your sort of relationships and everything else that also exists within a person's life.
Yeah, and I get a lot of energy and focus with yoga. And a year ago, I discovered Argentine tango, which is a second passion. And I don't know, you know, it changed me in a way that I was really Nordic as habit, you know, going to sleep very early, etc. And but the Argentine people, you know, they go dancing like at 11 o'clock in the night. So I'm going dancing like 2 or 3 times.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
And there's a lot of Argentinian tango in Italy.
Oh yes, now there is a craze for Argentinian tango. And for my job, it's really important, because it's a training of on being connected and being very empathic. And finally, I can be a woman. I can stop being a man at work, because there is somebody who is leading me. But it's, you know, feminists would say, what is this? But the man who leads needs to be a leader. And I think it's a very important and interesting metaphor for leadership in business, because if you're not able to lead, people won't follow you.
Yeah.
Okay? And if you want to be a good follower and a good leader, need to be very connected and need to listen to each other, and need to be aligned as far as, you know, communication, values, direction, and everything.
Yeah. Well, it's a very, very interesting parallel, Argentinian tango and business. But you know, there's certainly some elements about having the confidence to lead, and having also the communication and the clarity of intention and direction that can make a difference. Because I mean, if you don't have intention and clarity and communication within tango, I'm guessing it would be a big mess.
Right. And yes, and another thing is feelings so empowered and so self-assured that you give the permission to somebody else to lead you without feeling a victim.
Yes.
Okay. So you can lead me because I give you the permission to lead me here.
Yeah. No, and so that's really interesting. So the tango of business and the tango of entrepreneurs, and it's fascinating. It's a very, very interesting analogy.
Yeah, and like yoga, we can find a lot of analogies in as far as mindset. All the position, you know, all the yoga asana teach you how to see the world in a different way. They teach you how to go beyond your limits, but in a sustainable way.
Yes.
When you go upside down, you actually see the world upside down. And then when you do like, I don't know how, you know, this position where you go.
Oh, the arch way.
Arches and twists.
Yes.
Something happens in your mind, not only from the energetic point of view, but also from a mindset point of view.
Yeah, definitely. And in my past, I've had yoga teachers who've said the positions you like the most in yoga versus the ones that you like the least, they say a lot about your personality.
Yeah.
So, if somebody's really trying to figure out who they are and what they like, what they don't like, I say go and do some yoga.
Definitely. And then you have to develop that what you don't like.
Or a choice, right? And
it's a choice.
At least there's awareness, and for me it's really about having the awareness, because once you have the awareness you can accept or not. So it's like my 3 A's, which is once you can bring awareness, you can choose, and then you can choose also to accept. If you don't accept, then there's all that resistance and persistence thing that comes up, and then it's action. It's like what inspired action can I take based on the awareness and the acceptance that I've gained. So that's why I completely agree with you in regards to the importance of health and well-being and bringing things like yoga into your life, because it can really make a difference.
And action, you mentioned this magical word, because nothing happens. It's obvious. Nothing happens if there is no action. Many people are thinking, they're hoping, they're doing, but they're not acting. And then another word that you learn in also in yoga, in tango, and everything. If you want to succeed, you must have discipline, and discipline is freedom.
Yes.
Because the more disciplined you are, the more choices you get. If you are not disciplined, no way. You have to in the end you give the other people how can I say, the power on your life, because you have not empowered yourself without discipline.
Because the discipline is the empowerment. Beautiful. I love
discipline towards your goal, towards your whatever you want to do.
And I think also what is really important in that piece is and this also comes into discipline. Discipline speaks to I often use the Olympics analogy. An Olympic athlete won't just go and train when he or she feels like it, right? You don't just decide well, I'm going to be, an Olympic gold medalist, and I'm just going to train whenever I feel like it. Well, that's not how it works, right?
That's it. And I hope somebody is noting me, and they're, you have to work, you have to do it, and then you have to stay very focused in the moment. And be happy with what you get. And then go a little bit further, and then be happy with what you get, and then go a little bit further, and then be very focused on what you want to go, but also learn that if you need to make detours, you have to make detours.
That's right. And that's what I call the difference between attachment and commitment. So just real commitment looks like I'm ready to weather the ups and downs and the detours and everything else that comes my way, versus attachment, which also I compare to sort of a fixed mindset of if this doesn't work, that means I'm a failure, versus I can get feedback from this experience and just keep moving in the direction in which I'm committed to move anyway.
I totally agree. And there is an issue of control. I want life to be as I imagine life to be. Exactly.
And that's, I think, also a source of a lot of people's sort of distress and anxiety and sadness and fear, is the desire to control things so that they sort of appear and arrive and become in a specific order, the way they imagined, which is comes back to attachment. Whereas once we can learn to just really be open to the possibilities of life, and that sometimes it doesn't go as we planned, but as you mentioned before, it's maybe because, you know, it not working out is just preparing you, or preparing everything so that it works out even better later. So it's kind of like not accepting the, you know, any first job that comes along prepares you for the amazing one that will come later.
Yeah, and sometimes, you know, people are overlooking things just because, you know, they have there in front of them, but they want them differently, so they're not seeing them.
Yeah. No,
Yes.
definitely.
Yeah, that's why people need to be very, very open up to all possibilities. And if something has never happened before, it doesn't mean that will not happen in the future.
Yeah, exactly. Just trust.
Yeah, and I think that my life is an example.
Yes, and I love it. I love the 4 lives, and you know, I think that you know, I do sincerely hope that, you know, it continues, and that the 4th, and maybe, I don't know if there's going to be a 5th one. Maybe you're like a cat, you have 9. I don't know. I don't know. Hopefully the, you know, they're all as fascinating one as the next. So Angela, if people wanted to get in touch with you, can you just share, can we share what your website is?
Yes, my website is www.angelasanti.it.
Perfect.
It's both in Italian and in English. And then I have a Facebook profile, which is in Italian. It's Angela Santi Coaching. LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn as Angela Santi, and also on Twitter and Instagram.
Perfect.
Also everywhere.
All right. And so what we'll do is we'll just make sure that all those links are in the interview notes, so that people can access you if they want to. They want to get in touch. And you know, there's quite possibly some bilingual English Italian people watching this. So
I hope so.
Yeah, we never know. Yeah, or just somebody who loves Italy and they'd love to have an Italian coach.
With this accent, with the Italian accent.
That's right. Hey, there's something for everyone, right?
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to share? Is there a question that you would like, you know, to ask that I haven't asked?
Only one thing that I want to say at the end. Be grateful for everything that happens to you, because it's happening for you.
Yes, not to you. That's beautiful.
Angela,
I just really want to acknowledge you for your cheer, for your authenticity, for your joy, the energy that you bring, for you going through these 4 lives and continuing with such enthusiasm and joy, and for really sharing what you do with the world, because I think it's so important, and for you know, for you to help people see what they really want in life, and for them to realize their dreams is just a fantastic thing and a generous thing for you to do. So I really thank you for that.
Thank you.
So I thank everyone thank you very much for joining me, Angela. And I thank you all for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again next time. Have a great day. Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.